Well, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a brand new edition of Pro Style Hair Oil presents It's My Show Season 4. All right. जुन माया सद्भाव आफ्नो पनि यहाँले देखाइदिनु भएको छ. We're really blessed. We feel blessed जब हामी शो चलाउँछौँ, निर्माण गर्छौँ. यो मेरो मात्र हैन, यो एन्टायर टिमको जुन एफर्ट छ, देखा पर्दा म मात्रै देखा पर्ला, तर बिहाइन्ड द सिनका जुन रियल हिरोहरू हुन्छ, उहाँलाई पनि तब गर्व लाग्छ जब हामीले गरेको कार्यलाई यहाँले मन पराइदिनुहुन्छ, रुचाइदिनुहुन्छ र त्यही कारण इट्स माई शो आज यो स्थानमा पुगेको छ. लागौँ आजको अतिथितर्फ. वेल, अतिथि जो आज आउँदै हुनुहुन्छ, सम्भवतः धेरै हामी नेपालीले नचिन्या पनि हुन सक्छ. पनि भने मैले त्यसमा. कारण उहाँ एउटा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सेलिब्रिटी र आर्टिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ. भनिन्छ नि हातमा जे छ त्यही लिएर अगाडि बढ. सिप छ भने सिप लिएर अगाडि बढ. स्वर छ भने स्वर लिएर बढ. कलम छ भने कलम लिएर बढ. बन्दुक छ भने बन्दुक लिएर बढ. तर नबढ्दा चाहिँ राम्रो हुन्छ बन्दुकको. सो आजको आर्टिस्ट जो हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँ संसारभरि हिँड्नुहुन्छ. चाहे त्यो ग्राफिटीको रूपमा होस्, क्यालिग्राफीको रूपमा होस्, पेन्टिङको रूपमा होस् वा अरू कुनै साधन स्रोतको रूपमा होस्. What he does is, he's एउटा यात्री हुनुहुन्छ उहाँ बेसिकली. हिँड्नुहुन्छ, जहाँ राम्रो कुरा देख्नुहुन्छ त्यसलाई अझ सुन्दर बनाउनुहुन्छ. जहाँ कहीँ फोहोर छ भने त्यसलाई झन् अत्याधिक मात्रामा त्यसमा सुन्दरता थपिदिनुहुन्छ. फैलिरहेको यो पृथ्वीमा फैलिरहेका मानिसहरूसँग इन्टरेक्ट गर्न उहाँलाई मन लाग्छ. र त्यही क्रममा उहाँ केही विशेष काम विशेषले यहाँ आउनु भएको थियो र यही मौका छोपेर उहाँलाई हामीले स्टुडियोमा लौ न हजुर भनेर स्वागत गरेका छौँ एन्ड उहाँले स्वीकार दिनुभएको छ. सो लेडिज एन्ड जेन्टलमेन, प्लिज अलाउ मी टु वेलकम ट्रुली ब्लेस्ड इन्टरनेसनल आर्टिस्ट एल-सीड. All right, brother. Welcome to Nepal.
Thank you.
Welcome to It's My Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How is Nepal treating you?
Nepal always treating me super well. You
feel like home here?
Actually, yes. It's been the third time now I come in less than a year, and honestly, every time I come, I feel like I'm visiting home, like visiting family. So people are like so welcoming. Like creating a relation with people are like kind of easy. They're human. That's what I felt, like there is a strong humanity in Nepal.
Okay. Let's get to the point.
Tell me.
Graffiti, calligraphy, or paint. What differentiate these three components? If there is any difference though.
I mean, each one is a art practice. Graffiti, as we know it, was born like in the US, in the 70s. Calligraphy is something that has been done like by different civilization during time, during our history. And paint is, you can paint the wall of your house or you can paint an art piece, on a canvas or in the street, So it just depends on where you stand, depending on and where you stand, like for each of those art practice. That's how I look at it.
So what got into graffiti? I think you started off with graffiti.
Yeah.
From painting or doing a wall to house to community to countries.
Yeah.
You've been there. Let's talk about the journey so far.
Yeah, the journey started like more than 20 years ago in France. I was born and raised in France from Tunisian parents. And I think I was always painting, and since I was a kid. But when I discovered graffiti, I felt something special because for me it was painting in the street, like painting in big. I was always impressed, by people who could create like large-scale painting. And I was fascinated with this. And, I started practicing and slowly, like I introduced calligraphy later on, into my artwork. And then from one wall to another wall to a bigger one. And then realizing actually the power that, art can play. I was like, actually, like I'm holding a tool, that can do so much amazing stuff, and that's, I think, the beginning of a journey.
Okay, with time, I think the quality of the pen, the quality of work definitely grew, but the size of the painting grew too.
Yeah.
You're basically talking about the size. It was, let's say, a wall first.
Yeah.
And then maybe a window or anything else.
Yeah.
And then suddenly a city.
Yeah.
So the size always attracted you. The big size, you know, the area that you cover it while you're doing the painting and all.
You know, I think, I believe, you know, like at the beginning it started as a challenge, you know, at the beginning, like doing something big was like a challenge. I remember the first time I did a big mural, I was really, really scared. I was like, how am I gonna do that? And then slowly I realized that the bigger the art piece is, the stronger visibility and attraction. You can attract the eyes of the people. And then that's how you can start talking about subject that you want to raise, you know. So if you just paint a small wall to speak about like an issue that's happening, I don't know, in Nepal or somewhere in the world, people just look at it and they will say, okay. But if you do something big, people say like, why this guy did this in this place at this time? So you question, you start questioning, you open a conversation and people, they're like, oh, actually, I want to know more about this, you know? And I realized that actually, yeah, it was unconscious that I started making big pieces because I realized that, you know, like the bigger the piece is, the more attraction you get toward the piece and toward the theme that I wanted to talk about as an artist.
Okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but then whatever I know of painting, graffiti or calligraphy, it's kind of, you're venting out your emotions. You're venting out your anger, dissatisfaction, or your unhappiness through your art, and you're telling the community that I'm not happy. Is that so?
That could be a point of view. People maybe they express themselves, you know, on the public space in this way. Me, I think art is.
When you started it,
no, was
it the fact that you wanted to vent out your anger, or was it you wanted to do something and you did it?
No, I was never angry. Thank God, you know, I was always happy in my life. You know, there was no anger. I think it was like expressing myself, you know, like and also offering.
It's kind of rebel when you're not happy with the society, and then what do is you vent out in the form of spray paint or paint.
I think this is a romanticized way of looking at it. That's how people they start to portray it, and there's not only one way to do it. And I think me, the way I started it, it was, yeah, I thought there was something cool. You know, that's how I look at it at the beginning. It was like something cool to paint in the street, and it's just not like on an A4 paper, you know. So it was challenging, and then realizing that actually you could. It's more than just art. It's like it takes you like to so many places. And when I say places, I'm not talking about physical places. It's like how like you can then connect with people, you know. Because when you paint in the street, you, in a certain way, you know, like it's a political act. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
It's a political act because you address to the public, you know, like you talking directly to the public in the space. So it's a political act, but you know, it's not always anger. It can be love. It can be.
When you can't reach out to the people who's doing wrong for the society, then what you normally do as public is go there and paint the street the way you want to. Correct?
Yeah,
that has been the case all over the world.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists have done that, and even me indirectly, sometimes I did it in a certain way, like that, you know, but not with the anger, more like with the purpose, saying like, you know what, I want to raise, you know, awareness about this. I want to bring light on this subject. I want to highlight this community, and that's how I think it evolved. You know, that's how I look at it.
What makes you do it? What is it? Satisfaction? Is it occupation? Is it you?
I think it's a lot of stuff. You know, what push me, what makes me do it. I think, of course, there's passion. You know, because I love what I do. But when you love something that you do, and you see that what you do is useful as well, you know, and you're like, why not? You know, and me, I look at it as an artist doing my part. You know, so it's God gave me this. I always say it's skill or gift. I don't know.
It's a blessing.
It's this blessing, and then this is my contribution to this world, and that's how I look at it. So God give you like something different. You know, you have like the skills to connect with people like super fast. You have the skills of speaking. You know, like in the yeah, exactly. And that's, I think this is what I have. And so this for me is a tool that I use for like a greater purpose than me. And I think a lot of people do the same. But it's like, you know, like this wall. You know, you have like a piece of brick. So me, I'm like maybe the little one on the right bottom, and then each one put its brick, and then at the end we all build together a wall. So that's how I look at it.
Let's talk about your first big project.
First big project.
The project that world said, wow, this guy is too good for this.
Now, there is one big project that I did a big project in my hometown of Gabès in Tunisia, where I'm originally from, right after the revolution. He got a... actually, this project was 10 years ago, and it made me realize actually the impact, how sometimes you can make people feel proud, you know, of saying like, I'm from this city. Or like, I remember some people say like, you brought our head up, you know, and how like just an art piece can just bring a city or a community back on the map.
What was it? Was it a painting?
Yeah, it was a painting on actually it was a mosque that was built in '94 in Tunisia, in my town.
I think we have a few pictures maybe that we can connect with that.
And then it was never painted. So I was like, you know, every summer when I used to go to holiday to visit the family from France, I used to visit this building, and I was like, 2012, I was like, why don't we paint this? And we approached the mayor of the city, and the imam is like, please do whatever you want. And I remember the imam and the mayor, they say like, we want this to become like a landmark for the city, you know, because Gabès is a beautiful city, but I mean, it's not known. And actually they use that today as a landmark. But I think the project that I did a few years ago, 6 years ago in the Cairo garbage collector neighborhood in Egypt was like something that brought another level actually to my work, you know, where I realized that actually art can become the best tool, and also can be used as a pretext, you know, to highlight community and to tell a story that people don't hear necessarily, you know, like on the mainstream media. And like I said, you start with the right intention, you go, you do it, and then slowly the thing get bigger than you, and you just realize you're just like a little part in this big universe, and you're like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Okay, when it comes to your part of the profession, I think the site selection is very important.
Yes.
So how do you select those sites?
You know, it starts with a theme. So, for example, I want to speak about a subject.
So you talk about the theme first and then start looking for the location?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you decide a location and then you start working on the theme?
No, it's the theme first and then I found the location.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, for example, I wanted to speak about perception years ago, and then I found this committee of garbage collector of Cairo, and they developed the most powerful recycling system in the world, but they segregate, I mean, they just totally marginalized. And I was like, those guys, they do something that nobody does in the world, but they so totally segregated. So like, you know, let's go and do something. And then that's how the peace perception was created.
Let's talk about the project that you're doing in Nepal.
Yeah,
Nepal Chok.
That's...
So you went there or you had a theme first?
Yeah, the theme was woman empowerment. Okay. You know, I wanted to speak about women empowerment. I did the project a few years ago in a refugee camp in South Lebanon. And then a few years ago, I read this story about women in Nepal who have been actually leading the reconstruction of their home, you know, like in some rural places all around Nepal after the 2015 earthquake. So I was like, this is strange. I mean, not surprising. I was intrigued. And then last year we said like, you know, let's go check it out, you know, and we came with my team and we just spent like a week. We went to different places, and through Nirvana Chaudhary, like bless him, we found this beautiful village of Giranchaur, you know, in the district of Sindul Pachok. And when I visited, I was like, this is the place. And actually this village was, the reconstruction of the village was financed by a Chaudhary Foundation, you know. So Nirvana told me, okay, let's go. You know, there's this village, and we came, and I was like, me in my head, I was like, okay, this is exactly, in terms of construction, I was like, I can definitely create an art piece there. And then we met the community, we met the woman of Giranchaur, and then it was just, okay, give us a few months, we just take care of the logistics and we will be back. And the idea was that. The idea was to highlight the story of those women, you know, that have been rebuilding their house, you know. And, you know, when you think of building a house, you know, all of us unconsciously always have the image of a man. But when you think of building a home, you have the image of a woman, you know. And I think those women, they built the house and the home together. So I think for me it was important to highlight, you know, like, I think it's a superpower. So, yeah, so okay, that's the point.
You have a theme, you find a right location,
yeah,
you paint it,
yeah,
your art is done. What happens that particular moment when you finish your work and you look at it from your eyes?
You breathe. You know, you breathe. There is a feeling of satisfaction and contentment and happiness, you know, and also sadness, you know, because, you know, like what I love the most in everything that all the projects, you know, I've done with my team is the human connection, you know, the human experience. And you know, when you reach the end of a project, it means that you're about to leave the people that you spend like weeks with, you know what I mean? So it's always like this happiness of finishing something, like this big, crazy project. And also the fact that, you know, like in a few days, like you're about to say goodbye to people that you met, you know, and the thing we stay in touch, you know, all the people we've done, all the projects I've done around the world with my team, we stay in touch with every single people. We don't call each other every day, but at least, you know, like we talk like once every few months, you know, and then we become family. So I have family in South Korea, in Brazil, now in Nepal. You know, I'm Tamang, me, you know, Lasso.
Are you more than required emotional person?
I'm an emotional person. I think we all have emotion as human, you know, we all have emotion. That's what makes us human. But some people have like a better way to express them or to show them. Some other, like they hide them, you know, and so it's, I don't know. Me, I think I express my emotion through my art.
Yeah.
Me, I think I don't have any shame to show my emotion, you know, so I think it's, and even, you know, sometimes we say like men, like don't show emotion. I think it's important that we show
Men
emotion.
don't cry, sort of
I mean,
thing,
men cries. We all have to cry. You know, like sometimes you have to evacuate, and me, I don't have no shame. I cry, and I cry, and I will cry. It's good.
Yeah, I've seen few of your works, like amazing work, no doubt. But
Thank you.
I always wanted to ask you the color combination. You use kind of very vibrant colors like white, orange. You know.
Yeah.
Any particular reason to use those bright and vibrant colors in life?
You know, sometimes like you paint on the urban space, or sometimes you paint in nature. So you want to make sure like the piece is seen. You know, so it's you want to create a contrast. I will say like with the environment, so then the piece is noticed. Sometimes I try to stay like, you know, like to get the humility of saying like the environment is bigger than the piece. You know, like so just bend and like, you know, like surrender to nature. And sometimes you're like, I just want like to create a pink art piece in the middle of the desert, you know, so everybody can see it, you know, and so it's eye-catching, so yeah.
So just to make it a little different from the existing background,
exactly. Yeah,
you do it.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of liters of paint you played around with.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sure there's money involved.
Of course.
How do you survive?
How do I survive? I would say, how do I live? You know what I mean? You know, how I look at it is, I'm an artist. I have a studio. I do studio work. I do canvases. Sometimes people, they pay me. They commission me. Not all my projects are like personal projects, which means personal initiative.
Do you have well-wishers around you, good friends around you who are financially a little strong and they say like, okay, this is what you wanted to do. Just go ahead and achieve your dream. Or you sort of donation, is it?
No, for example, let's say I have a show, like last year I had a show in Italy, in Milan. Okay, so I have like a show with canvases. Collectors, they come, you know, they're interested in my work. They buy my work, and then part of the money that I make go into funding some artwork. Sometimes there is commission, you know. For example, the project I did in Nepal, in Giranshahar, I was commissioned by Cartier to create an art piece on the Women Pavilion. I was one of the creators of the Women Pavilion during Expo 2020. They told me, we would like you to create an art piece on the facade, you know. And I told them, you know, I would love to, I don't want to just paint, I want to tell the story and have this project about women in Nepal. So I want to create this project there, and then I will reinterpret the creation that I've done in Giranshahar, like in Sindel Pachok, on the facade of the Women Pavilion in Expo, which is gonna close actually soon. And the idea was to use like the Women Pavilion as a platform, you know, like an amplifier of the voice of the women of Giranshahar. And then like now, like we are on the next step. That's why I came, you know, with my team like this week.
Do you at times run out of cash?
Thank God, no. You know, so we try to be careful on the way we deal with. I mean, you know, when I started as an artist alone.
You start a project and suddenly something goes wrong and then the project is incomplete because there's not enough fund.
I mean, we calculate. You know, sometimes like you take 3 years to do a project because you know.
What would be the average cost of any project? Average, let's say from you, your team traveling.
You know, like honestly, Suraj, there's somebody in my team who take care of finance, and they try.
You have no idea.
They take me out of this because they say I'm too emotional. So if I say
you're gonna spend.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better. And you know, today in my team, all the people, we are a great team of almost 10 people, and each one in the team, they each have a task, you know, like in the role and the responsibility, but each of them has like the main mission to make sure that I stay an artist, you know, so I don't deal with, of course I decide at some strategic point, you know, in what I do, but it's important that, you know, like there's some stuff that I don't want to take care of, you know, because then I get too distracted. You know, I'm not going to take care of logistics and stuff. Otherwise, you know, I need to stay an artist.
You can't focus on the work that you're known for.
Exactly, that's how I look at it.
What would be your dream? Or let's say, your dream project? Where do you want to paint? What do you want to paint? And how do you want to paint?
I think the dream, I will respond to the first sketch question because I like that. My dream, I think, as an artist, I'm living it. You know, if you came to me as the little Elcid 25 years ago, tell me like, yeah, in 25 years you will be like in Nepal, you know, in front of Suraj, like on TV, you know, speaking about a project that you did just recently in Nepal, I will be like, come on. And for me, this is that. I try to live every single moment as the most, you know, like, because this is amazing. I feel privileged of being able to do this, to live those moments, to share them, you know, and to share them and to inspire and be inspired as well. So that's how I look at it, you know. And so I'm living my dream. So I don't dream of anything else. My dream is to be able to keep doing what I do, you know, with the same intensity, with the same passion, and with the same flame, you know. And sometimes you know, like sometimes you have down moment where you're like, maybe I'm losing the flame, and that's part of the journey.
Any infrastructure that you really want to paint and have your impact or signature on that?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's so many places, you know, like we have so many places. I think maybe the White House in the US is too white, you know. I think we need to put some colors, no? So if there's somebody from the US Embassy, maybe it can be a project, you know. No, but I mean, like, no, there is so many places I would love to do, you know. And it's not about the places, like I said, it's about the story, you know.
The theme is important.
Yeah, the theme, the people, the story, and what the project will bring out, you know. You know, are we just gonna highlight? I'm just gonna come and paint and leave. What's next, you know? And that's why I say art is a pretext, you know. It's a pretext for something bigger than me, bigger than all the people who work with me, you know, and that's it.
Do you revisit your project work? Do you go to that place and look at your art, look at your work? Has it gone bad? Is it well maintained?
No, I don't care about this. You know, for me, art in the public space, street art is by essence ephemeral. So it's meant to disappear. You know, today we're like in Jairan Shower, we did the project in October, I come back, it's gone. Only left, you know, like the painting on the rooftop or the bamboo, the fabrics that we put to create this artwork was not there anymore. But what is left is...
Does it hurt you?
No, I'm done. I'm totally disconnected from this. I can be hurt at the time when I'm doing it. But you know what's funny, when we did this project in Nepal, we finished, I remember the day we finished, we took our drone shot because the artwork you can see it from a bird view. We went home to sleep, and then the same night there was a storm, you know, and we came in the morning, it's like, what is that? Like all the bamboo and the fabric, everything was on the floor. And I was like,
it was how many days work? It
was a month of work, 5 weeks
30 days, five weeks long work, and it's gone overnight.
Yeah, it's gone overnight. But what amazed me on this time was the woman of Jairan Shower, they say, no, we're going to fix it. In 4 hours, they put the bamboo back and everything. They said, you know, we own this piece. You know, we are proud of this. And we try to take care of it.
We're part of it.
Yeah, we try to take care of it as much as we can. You know what I mean? And so that's the point. So the piece is gone. But what's left is the memories in the moment. And me as an artist, I think I don't collect artwork. I have the picture, it's fine. You know, I've done it. But it's the moments. I collect moments. You know, like all those little stories that I've shared with so many people all around the world. And that's how I look at it. You know, so one day I will be like an old man on my rocking chair and talking to my grandkids and telling them all those little stories about people that I met in Nepal and people in South Korea and Suraj like in Kathmandu.
All right, brother. So we'll talk more on this and we'll have a few pictures to look at, especially the work that you've done. We're so proud of you, brother. Keep shining. Keep shining. On that note, going for our first commercial break. All right, welcome back. My good brother is here.
Thank you, Suraj.
Let's see some of your work here. All right?
It's dope. This one it's in Paris. You see the thing that I wrote on the wall yesterday?
Yeah.
That's the same phrase of this. It's a quote from a French writer called Stendhal, who said, "Love is a miracle of civilization," and that's what's done. So if you go to Paris, when you walk by the river, you can see that.
When was this?
2014.
Have you again gone there and looked?
Yeah. I mean, this one, that's funny. That's the only piece that doesn't move. Like I pass in front of it. I don't know what happened. Like, thank God. I don't want to curse it. It's like, it looks like I did it yesterday.
As it is.
Yeah.
Little faded, maybe.
Just a bit, but I think, I don't know. Like maybe the wall, because it's concrete. So this is the perfect, medium.
Right.
Yeah, so this one was, it's a piece called Declaration. So it's a sculpture made actually in front of Dubai Opera in the UAE. So it's right behind actually Burj Khalifa, like the tower. And that's what I wanted to do with this piece is I really wanted to make people interact with it so you can climb it, And what is funny is like you have now birds who put their nest. I swear. So like, like they just put their nest inside one of those letters. And so every time I pass, I see like, come on guys, you have to pay the rent now,
Is it difficult to convince the system or the person in charge?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest challenge.
It's all the time there.
Yeah, because you have to explain and why. And people sometimes, when you're an artist and you deal with people who are not into art, so it's not complicated, but
we don't need this.
Yeah, they're like, why? What's the purpose and why? And why should we spend money on this? And, and it's like, it's bigger than what you think, like by creating art in the public space, you don't bring like monetary value. I say you bring like social value, you bring like proud to people, like the sense of pride, you bring social change, and I've seen it in so many places, in Cairo, now they have a zip line in Garbage City, people, they come and they visit the site, they go visit the church in the neighborhood. So art is, like I said, it's a tool that can affect so many things around, but the sense of pride of people when you go paint in their community, I think for me is the most amazing thing. And
was it difficult in Nepal, Sindhupalchok? Were they welcoming?
Yeah, really welcoming. Like honestly, like I told you, like human tamero Nepali ho. So I mean, no, they were lovely.
Okay, name few colors in Nepal. I'm sure you know it.
Okay. We have Sieto.
Seto.
We have Nilo right there. We have Kalo. Rato. Payelo. I don't see what is Payelo. Yeah. So that's, I know, because we were painting with the woman. So I was like, okay, this is Rato here. This is Payelo here. So we had to learn a bit.
All right.
So this one is in Paris as well. This is Pont des Arts. This bridge where they used to put the lock, like to lock their love.
Yeah.
And at some point, the weight of all the locks you can see on the foreground of the picture was so heavy. So one of the fence fell off on the river. So the municipalities they decided to remove all the lock and put some of my artwork like temporary for 6 months. So I did a full calligraphy that crossed the bridge.
And how many days did it take to complete it?
Took me to create this 6 days, I think. Yeah. But non-stop, day and night.
And you and your team?
Yeah. I mean, you always need 2 hands to clap. So, you cannot do anything by yourself.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah. That's my hometown of Gabes in south of Tunisia, the one I told you about. So this
is the mosque that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the Mosque of Jara. It's a building that was built in '94. They never painted it. And
now that's Paello.
Huh?
That's Paello.
Yeah. This one was
Paello.
Yeah. There's Paello and Calo on it,
Yeah. Little golden Paello.
So
and it's still intact, still the same.
This one as well. I don't want to curse it. It look like we've done it yesterday.
Do people come and tell me, please paint my wall, please paint my building?
People, but it doesn't.
It doesn't attract you.
Yeah. I like to. I tell you, for example, in Tamil here, and I love this story. We're in Tamil sitting at. We have a friend of us. He has a coffee shop called Food Mood, and there was a wall like on the other side of his shop, and I was like, I want to paint this wall. And the guy was like, Fauzi, my real name is Fauzi, Suraj. He's like, don't, I mean, she's rude. She never say hello to anybody and stuff. And so I told him, write me this. Hello, mera naam Fauzi hai, artist, but I forgot what I said. And I went to see her. I went and I just said like, hello, my name is Elcid, I'm an artist, Fauzi, Elcid from France. I'm an artist and I would love to paint your wall. I want to write the word love, Maya, in Arabic. And she said, Unsa. Yeah, I was like, okay. And that's it.
That's easy.
And now, like, she's so cool. I mean, the guy told me, like, now, like, she say hello to everybody. She's smiling. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the power of art.
That's the difference. That's the impact.
Yeah, you create bridges between people. And people, they don't realize that. And just because of this, we give her, like, the importance. She became, like, the star, like, for the time I was painting the thing. And then we took picture of her. And then, like, I'm going to see her tomorrow because I didn't visit her yet.
She's become your best friend now.
Yeah. So if she see me, Mrs. Ram Davididi, this is Geran Shower. So this is...
and then it was there for a night.
Like that, and then we put it back, and then now it's all gone. What's left is only the painting on the rooftop. All the fabrics and stuff has been removed. And, I think it's important that I say that, my work is Arabic calligraphy. So what I do, every place I go, I try to find inspiration from the place. So I look into writings from the place that I then translate into Arabic. For example, this one was a word of one of the first Nepali activist feminist. Her name was Yogmaya Nepane. She passed away in 1941, And the story said that people thought she was just a myth, a legend, until one anthropologist found some of her writing, like poetry, and when she passed away in 41, like, she was totally forgotten. But when they found those writings, they were like, actually, yeah, she existed. And so I use one of her poems that says, there is no difference between me and you. The tears that you have on your eyes are the same as mine, but translated into Arabic. And so this is what's written on the rooftop of Geran Shower. Yeah. So
this has to be my favorite.
Okay, I love it too. So this one is in Duomo in Milan, in Italy. So it's a temporary sculpture we installed last year. The sculpture just says love, Maya in Nepali, Mahub in Arabic. And I think Duomo was a labor of love, like the way they've built it. And so it was just like a testimony of that in front of it.
How does it feel when somebody that you don't know, randomly you go through Instagram or any social media and they have your art with them taking picture and it comes to you, it reaches out to your eye?
Yeah, I mean, you feel happy, you feel proud, It's always, you feel flattered, I would say, it's amazing, like when you see that your art might touch the heart of people. I think this is satisfying and I love that.
Your work, your art and birds, they're always there.
Yeah.
They need to be there. May it be Dubai, may it be anywhere else in the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this one is it's a piece called the Mirage. I wish I show you a different picture from the top. It's a 16-meter dome. Actually, you can go inside it. It's like 3 meter high.
Ooh.
And the idea was to, it was actually a kind of metaphor of a love story that happened in the 7th century. So there was a guy called Jamil. He was in love with this woman called Buthaina, and he used to write poetry about her. And then the poetry got spreaded like in the region called Wadi al-Qura. And when the father heard that those poems that became so famous were addressed to his daughter, he took it as an insult and then he forbid their union. And they say that Jamil passed, he died out of sadness because they never married, they never became together. And so the idea was to create an art piece that will be exactly with the same color as the sand, and the kind of mirage. And that's one, like I could have made it pink to strike, but the environment, the nature around it was so majestic that you have to surrender and just show humility. So that's why it's like ton sur ton. So this one is in Toronto.
It looks very similar, yet it looks very different.
This is, I call that the Mirror of Babel. This is installed in Toronto, Canada. And Toronto is the most diverse city in the world.
Correct.
So the idea was to take the biblical story of the Tower of Babel, where humankind wanted to reach God, and that God cursed them. They built this tower, and God cursed them by making them speak different languages. So they couldn't understand each other. So they stopped building the tower and then spread around the world. And this is the birth of language. But Toronto is different. It's people who speak different languages and come to one place, which is Toronto, and they speak one language, which is English, not to build a tower, but to build a society. So that was a kind of reflection around that. And I used a poem from a Mohawk poet from Canada, who who actually was paying an homage to the country.
Lovely.
That's perception. So this one was the project, we did 2016 inside the garbage collector neighborhood. So
is it project for a piece?
Yeah.
This is the same one?
Yeah, exactly.
The 50 houses?
Yeah, 52 houses, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea was to create an art piece you can only see from one vantage point, And the goal of that, it's because this community is segregated because of just the association with trash. People, they don't live in the garbage, they live from the garbage. And it's so funny when you see them, they finish their job, they just dress as you and I, like totally normal. But just their job is to recycle the garbage. And they say, without them, Cairo will be a garbage, And so the idea was to create an art piece that you can only see from one vantage point. And the idea was to say that sometimes if you want to look, to see the real image of someone, maybe you should change your angle. And the quote that I used was a quote from a Coptic bishop from the 1st century, was actually originally from Egypt, because it's a Coptic neighborhood, Christian Coptic neighborhood. And he said, anyone who wants to see the sunlight clearly need to wipe his eyes first. And I was like, damn, this guy in the 1st century, he wrote this quote. I feel like he wrote it for me. The same as Yogmaya Napane. I feel like those guys, they live like years before me and they wrote something so I can come and just paint it in the place. So this one actually is one part of the piece is 63 meters. It was installed on the DMZ, between South and North Korea. So it's on the south part of Korea. And the idea was to, I say sometimes my work is about building bridges between people and culture and generation. And this one was exactly about this. It was about reunification. It was to, think of a utopic reunification between the two Koreas. So the idea was to create a bridge in the south part and a bridge, like a beginning of a bridge in north part. Because when you build bridges, it's always like from both sides.
Coming together.
Yeah. And so it was a sculpture, like a standing sculpture. And then the South Korean army, they were like, no, you have to go smaller. And every time they're like, smaller. And then the sculpture was not making any sense. They say, like, the only place you can put your artwork will be on the fence. And I did this. And then we reached out to North Korea. And actually, they say, okay, come, at your own expense. You can do the project. But honestly, I was scared. I was not scared to go. I was scared to not come back. So I didn't go.
It's one-way traffic, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. On that note, we're going for our second commercial break. When we come back, he's talking about सिन्धुपाल्चोकको जुन प्रोजेक्ट नेपालमा गरिरहनु भएको छ त्यो अधुरो हुन्छ यदि यो कार्यक्रममा मैले त्यहाँको एउटा महिलालाई सहभागी बनाएन भने. So after break, जब हामी ब्रेक पछि आउँछौँ तब हाम्रो साथमा हुनुहुन्छ बिनिता बिष्टजी. So going for हाम्रो second commercial break. Be right back. Alright, welcome back. Still watching It's My Show Season 4. र हामीले ब्रेकमा जानु अगाडि भनेको थियौँ जो ब्रदर हाम्रो साथमा हुन्छ अल्सी उहाँलाई सिन्धुपाल्चोकमा जुन काम गर्नलाई मद्दत गर्नुभयो त्यतिखेर एउटा महिला बिनिताजी अगाडि आउनु भएको थियो. सो मैले भनेको थिएँ यो कार्यक्रम र सिन्धुपाल्चोकको यो प्रोजेक्टको बारेमा हामी कुरा गर्छौँ भने सी नीड्स टु बी हियर बिकज उहाँ नभइकन यो कार्यक्रम अधुरो हुन्छ. सो प्लिज अलाउ मी टु वेलकम बिनिता बिष्ट. बिनिताजी प्लिज कम आउट. आरामै हुनुहुन्छ?
हजुर.
बस्नु. यस बिनिताजी, ल भन्नुहोस् उहाँको बारेमा अलिकति. जब उहाँ एउटा विदेशी मान्छे आयो, गाउँमा आयो, बुझ्दै नबुझ्ने कुरा यो गर्छु भन्छ, त्यतिखेर तपाईँले साथ दिनुभयो अरे?
हजुर, त्यतिखेर हामी गाउँमै थियौँ, म लगायत हाम्रो त्यहाँको महिलाहरू. अनि उहाँ इन्टरभ्यूको लागि आउनुभएछ, केही कुरा बुझ्न खोज्नुभयो हामीले. अनि त्यसपछि इन्टरभ्यूमा लिनु खोज्नुभयो. अनि एउटा जे होस् हामी त्यहाँ अरू पनि थियौँ, म लगायत. अनि मैले उहाँसँग इन्टरभ्यू दिन्छु भने त्यो भइसकेपछि इन्टरभ्यू भयो. जे होस् हाम्रो भुइँचालोको बारेमा त हामी सबैले थाहा छँदैछ. त्यो विषयमा हामीले घर सर बनाएका थियौँ. त्यसैको लागि अलिकति कुरा भयो. अनि फर्केर आउनुहुन्छ जस्तो लागेको थिएन हामीलाई जे होस् विदेशी भए पनि माया चाहिँ नेपालीले नै गर्नुभयो हामी एकदम खुसी छौँ उहाँप्रति अहिलेसम्म गरिरहनु भएको कामहरू राम्रो छ यहाँभन्दा पछाडि पनि जे होस् त्यहाँको महिलाहरूको लागि अझै राम्रो कामहरू अब सिपको कुराहरू शिक्षाका कुराहरू त्योहरू अभाव नै छ हाम्रो देश हाम्रो एउटा गाउँ मेरो गाउँमा मात्र होइन कि नेपालमै त्यस्तो हो तै उहाँले आएर त्यो ठाउँमै रोजेर त्यसरी गरिदिनु भएकोमा उहाँलाई हृदयदेखि नै धन्यवाद म मेरो गाउँको सबैको तर्फबाट र मेरो व्यक्तिगत तर्फबाट उहाँलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद
She is saying all the good things in life about you. How you've helped her come out of those.
It's a teamwork, you know. It's not only me. Like we're a team of people, and we work together as a team. You know, now it's as a family. That's how I look at it.
अरु नयाँ प्रोजेक्ट पनि गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ उहाँसँग अझ आइडिया हुन्थ्यो जस्तो लाग्छ फेरि गाउँमा
लाग्छ अब त
She wants you back in the village for a new project.
But we were back today. We came today because we we want to build this this education program, you know, for the women of the village, you know. So that's why today we came to have like a community meeting to see how we want to execute it, and hopefully we'll make it happen, you know.
बिन्दाजी कस्तो लाग्छ जब आफ्नो देश हो आफ्नो ठाउँ हो तर कोही विदेशी सफा मनले आउँछ अनि उले नै गरिदिनु पर्छ हामी चाहिँ त्यो गर्न सक्दैनौँ आफै
यस्तो हामी चाहिँ गर्न सक्छौँ जस्तो कि हाम्रो देशबाट त्यस्तो अहिलेसम्म भुइँचालो गएको 5-7 वर्ष भइसक्यो होइन त्यतिखेरसम्म अहिलेसम्म गभर्मेन्टले अथवा कुनै एनजिओले भन्दा पनि उहाँ व्यक्तिगत तर्फबाट के आफै म यो ठाउँमा गएर यो गर्छु भनेर जो गरिदिनु भयो नि त्यस्तो यस्तो मान्छेहरू जे हाम्रो देशमा पनि भइदिएको भए होइन म भन्छु कि उहाँ विदेशी भए पनि पूर्वजन्म चाहिँ उहाँको सायद हाम्रै गिरान्चरमा भएको थियो होला
त्यो तानेर ल्यायो
मलाई त्यो लाग्छ
अब जान नदिनुस्
अब चाहिँ हामीलाई विश्वास छ कि उहाँले यतिको काम गरेर अब यतिकै छोडेर जानुभयो भने यदि हामी कुनै मान्छेसँग पनि विश्वास गर्न सक्दैनौँ अब उहाँले यदि छोडेर जानुभयो भने हामीलाई त्यहाँसम्मको विश्वास छ उहाँले गर्नुहुन्छ केही सिपहरू हुन्छ नि त हामीले हामी आफै गरेर गर्न सक्छौँ जस हामीलाई घर त भयो नि त घर छ घर मात्र भएर भयो नि त त्यसको लागि घर व्यवहार चलाउनलाई बाँच्नु छ नि त लामो त्यसको लागि केही हामीलाई सिपमूलक केही कार्यक्रमहरू ल्याइदिनुहुन्छ भन्ने एकदम आशा छ त्यो सबैजनाको आशा मैले बोलेको अहिले
She is talking on behalf of the whole village, the community. They love you like anything. They don't want you to go. They want you to stay back with them.
Okay, I think the feeling is
show them bigger opportunity. And they're saying that they will not let you go. They're not in a position to let go of you, man.
Now we're family now. We're family.
Family.
Yeah.
All right. So, बिन्दाजी कस्तो लाग्यो कार्यक्रममा आएर एकैछिन भयो भने छोटो कुराकानी पनि भयो तपाईँ नआए अधुरो हुन्थ्यो भनेर मैले तपाईँलाई विशेष अनुरोध गरेर तपाईँ आइदिनुभयो धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद कस्तो लाग्यो आएर
एकदम राम्रो लाग्यो मैले यो सो इट्स माई सो जतिखेर पनि जोस् टाइम भएसम्म हेर्ने गर्थेँ यो सोमा आइपुग्छु जस्तो लागेकै थिएन तर सपनामा पनि थिएन सोचेको थिएन आज यहाँ आउँदा धेरै धेरै खुसी लाग्यो र मेरो गाउँको लागि उहाँले केही गरिदिनु भयो अनि मेरो गाउँको त्यही बस्तीको मान्छेहरूको आवाज बनेर म बोल्न पाउँदा एकदम धेरै धेरै आभारी छु
Thank you. So with that, brother, we've come to an end. It was wonderful talking to you for 1 hour. Wish I could talk more, but the format of the show says you shut up when it's 1 hour. So how was your experience?
It was amazing. I think this is same feeling. You know, I think all the people we met in Nepal, that's this humanity, and I confirm again to you, you know, like there's a blessing here. So I will end by saying Mero muto ropekucha Nepalma.
Say it again, loud and clear.
Mero muto ropekucha Nepalma.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Suraj. That's so.
मलाई दिएको खाउलाई सिएर दिउँला तिमीलाई बधाई अर्कै अङ्गालो प्यारो लागेछ आज मलाई रुवाई आँखाको नानी भित्रै छौ व्यर्थै गो जवानी आशैले समय रेटिएर मन आतङ्कमय छटपटिँदै यो चोटलाई सहने क्षमता कहाँबाट ल्याउँ कहाँ दुख्छ पत्तै पाइन यो समय रेटिएर मन आतङ्कमय छटपटिँदै यो घाउलाई सहने क्षमता कहाँबाट ल्याउँ कहाँ दुख्छ पत्तै पाइन आत्मामा बिजेछ घाउ ओ मायालु रोदनको हतकडी भिडायो नसिबमा लेखिएका सम्झनालाई टोकु कि बोकु मेरा अभागी तिर्सना बाधा र बिलौन मात्रै छन् व्यर्थै गो जवानी आशैले समय रेटिएर मन आतङ्कमय छटपटिँदै यो चोटलाई सहने क्षमता कहाँबाट ल्याउँ कहाँ दुख्छ पत्तै पाइन यो समय रेटिएर मन आतङ्कमय छटपटिँदै यो घाउलाई सहने क्षमता कहाँबाट ल्याउँ कहाँ दुख्छ पत्तै पाइन मलाई दिएको यो घाउलाई सिएर दिउँला तिमीलाई बधाई मलाई दिएको यो घाउलाई कहाँ दुख्छ पत्तै पाइन
Hi, this is Suraj Singh Thakuri and thank you so much for liking It's My Show Season 4 and please do not forget to subscribe Kantipur TV SD for more content, more music, more celebrities, more good talk and more fun in life.